right, we're going to continue our media availabilities here this morning. We've now been joined by Ross Chastain, driver of the #1 Chevrolet for Trackhouse. Ross, thank you for spending time with us this morning. Obviously a big weekend for your team. Tell us a little bit about kind of how you guys prepared for this weekend and what your thoughts are heading into tomorrow's race.
How did we prepare for the Southern 500? I can't tell you all my secrets. Yeah, it's been a fairly normal week. We stepped through our same processes that we normally do with DIL simulators, talking through some options there of different setups and different things we've ran in the past. We did fit in some extra time. Been doing some work with SVG and just leaning on each other to learn, just lay some groundwork for how we each interact and things. We just have such a tool with GM and their simulator there in Concord that we try to just lean into that thing and use it as a tool. It's not the end all. It doesn't tell us all the answers, but it'll give us lots of questions to ponder. So pretty normal. Yeah, just talking through it and a few bike rides, a few runs, and then ate some good food yesterday to catch up and recover from the week and ready to rip this morning.
All right, we'll now go to questions. We'll kick off here front with Jordan. Go ahead, Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. When you're in this position that you are coming into this race, how much time do you spend reflecting on the woulda, shoulda, couldas throughout the year? Texas, Michigan, Nashville, where if you had good runs, you're in contention, et cetera, and it didn't materialize.
No, I don't think those races crossed my mind. The races that did have been the past Darlington races. As I look through the weekends of since 2021, when I got with Phil Surgeon and then into the Gen 7 car, looking through those 4 years now, 3.5 years of races, right? 7 races and all of the nuances of each weekend and what I was saying and all that. That's the shoulda, coulda, wouldas of the past Southern 500s, the past spring races. That's kind of as I daydream a little bit throughout the week as I did that. It was those races that were popping up in my head.
All right, we'll go Mark and then up front to Bob.
Jordan sort of took Mark Garrow PR, and Jordan sort of took my question. So there's no race where you look back, well, I wish I had that one back. I really wish I had that one back.
Well, there's definitely races I had that. Yes, there's a long list. Nashville, obviously, top of list. I felt like we could win there. Texas was going to run second and be really happy coming out of there. Those two stand out the most. Pocono, I just crashed, right? Not at the end of the race, not up front. We were not up front at all, but that's one where I just flat spun out. So trying to go too fast for the amount of grip I had and broke traction. So yes, there is a list, but I guess I was more answering about like this week when I would kind of daydream and lose focus. It was Darlington races that were playing in my mind.
Are you surprised to be in this position? You way you ran last year, the way you ended last year. Are you surprised to be sitting here, having to scramble like this in the final race?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, it is. It's this stuff's so hard. I knew that. Whenever I ran my first truck race in 2011, and as I stepped up through the ranks, and I was in Cup cars here at Darlington that were right. We were just there to run the laps and go a single-digit number of laps down. 9 or less was the goal. I knew, obviously, how challenging it was. I also, had this dream that it would be a whole lot easier when I had all the funding and the tires and the pit crews, everything. And it has. Definitely, right? I don't expect to go laps down anymore. It still happens every now and then, but pretty. I'd say right now it's it is it's real that we are in this position. So I'd say surprised if you'd have had me fill out a bingo card start of the season, right? I wouldn't have dabbed this block for sure.
All right, Bob.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. When you're daydreaming, are you any of them a scenario where you can get in on points, or do you feel like this is a must-win situation?
Well, I just know the best way that we can ensure it is to win. So we've had opportunities to win the Southern 500. We've had opportunities to win a couple of races, spring and fall here, and in different series. So that's my goal. The math says we can do it either way, but my preparation and my mentality, and it's been this way since in Cup, since the very first spring race I came here in 2021. I left here that weekend and thought we can win a Cup race at Darlington one day, and that thought hasn't left my mind since.
And are you doing the Xfinity race to have more laps here? Are you doing it as a nice distraction to all this pressure, or are you doing it because you committed to it, and if you had your druthers, maybe you wouldn't?
I love Darlington, so I want to race all of the races that I can here. I would still run triple headers, right, if I thought it was going to be beneficial. I don't think triple headers are the best thing for me in today's climate of everything. But no, there's never been a thought about backing out or asking Mario to let me out of the car. I see the benefit. I mean, yes, it's an H pattern shifter versus a sequential. It's independent rear suspension versus Ford 9-inch, and truck arms versus not. So there's a lot of differences, but ripping some laps for 20 minutes this morning, I can't think of anything better to help me be faster Sunday night than getting laps on track here. And this is only my third Xfinity race of the year, so it's not like I've loaded up on them. I have hit that five race limit rule, which is kind of a badge of honor too. So I don't even think I'm going to hit 5 races this year. I think I'm only going to do 4.
All right, we'll go to Lee and then Kelly.
Lee Spencer, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio and catchfence.com. Curious, do you feel at all like you don't have the speed that you've had against the competition in the past? Because I'm looking at your laps led, I'm looking at your stage wins. It just doesn't seem to be where you've been the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think the stages is the big, easy thing to point at. You look at, finishing position. I don't think it's as bad as it would seem right now, but the stage points are way down. So yeah, we've just not been up there as consistent, and there's been times where we've been up there and just not been able to put together enough points. I mean, it's just they give out the same amount of points for every race except the 600. So do I think that I've had the consistent speed? No. But do I think that at Darlington will have the speed? I do. When I pull on track, I want to go and be as fast as I can in our practice session. That hasn't always been the case. Some of our goals in the past we've been fine with not being very fast in practice here, but this weekend is about speed and calibrating up to what the lap time is going to be today. So I think that here is one of our like measuring tools of where are we at as a team, and if we can come here to Darlington and show speed and be competitive, then we're not doing everything so wrong as it would seem because we're in this situation. It's just there's been with this generation car, there's been a lot of different winners, and we needed to be one of those.
And we're expecting an announcement shortly about Christian Eckes taking the next step in his progression. A guy like you who has raced trucks a lot, what have you seen him as far as his growth over the last couple of years?
Yeah. I've seen him step through a few different teams and then land with Bill McAnally and take a team that had never won in the truck series and win and be a consistent lap leader and race winner. So I think him and Charles and Bill they built something special there. And I'm biased because I'm over at Nice, so I see them as a key partner, Chevy truck team, as a teammate. And Phil Gould and Charles, they work together and they're more similar than they are different. And I've seen what they've done. I've seen him pass me a lot in truck races. So I don't know what what his announcement, what he's doing. But yeah, that's cool. Next step, no, got a good thing there. It'd be Bill's built and that 19 truck is obviously just been so competitive and so fast.
All right, Kelly.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com. Ross, aside from the consistent speed that you mentioned that you don't have, when you look at the points, this team, I mean, you were 93 points above the cut line leaving New Hampshire. So aside from the speed, as I mentioned, what has this team fought that, as you said, stage points, speed, that you guys just are not where you were last year?
Well, I didn't crash on my own at Pocono in the years past, so that one stands out for sure. Yeah, and then I mean there's I mean you could go down the list and we could dissect it over a 4-hour, media availability. But ultimately it just comes back to how fast can you go and can you finish those benchmark moments of stage 1, 2, and the end of the race and collect the points. Don't really have anything to really point at for sure. But it adds up to points, so I don't really know how else to answer that.
All right, we're going to take one final question from Claire B. Lang. Apologies, I'm not going to get to everyone, but I want to be sensitive to the call announcement that's coming up. So go ahead, Claire, with your final question.
Claire B. Lang. When you talk about this racetrack and you have to be aggressive and you know what's on the line for you, where is it on this racetrack that you can be aggressive when you're so busy trying to dance with the lady in black? And has that changed? And has the day to night handling of the car made a real big difference on this track?
The day to night definitely makes a difference. No, I have only been on this track since its current paving configuration and asphalt that's on it now. So as I've stepped through Xfinity races, Cup, truck races, I've definitely I've pulled out of here more disappointed than I've ever been excited, but I've always pulled in here excited just to be here. The drive down is awesome, and we've just had so many opportunities to pull out of here winners, and we haven't accomplished it except for one time, which was this year, which was just so cool because it made it more special because of all of the failures, and I had failed here so many times with cars and trucks capable of winning, and we're coming back from COVID and having an opportunity to win the second Xfinity race here that year. Just moments like that it was right there in front of us, and we did so many things right, but ultimately didn't win. So putting together 500 miles through daylight to dark and how these Cup cars drive off turn 2, they're either really good or they're fast, and you're either really fast and going forward, or you're wondering if you're going to crash every lap. And it's when I step out of the car and watch it back, it's awesome to watch, but in the moment, it's quite gets my heart rate pretty high.
And the aggressiveness you're going to have on this track, matched with just hanging on to the car, like it's a very, very tough racetrack. You got your hands full. How aggressive are you going to have to be?
I don't know. Nothing preconceived or any kind of preparation for that. It's more lap by lap and understanding, trying to keep an understanding of what's going on in the race and what stage of the race we're at, what point, what lap, and how my car is. If I'm tight, if I'm loose, if I've been bottoming out off the bump in turn 2, or if I'm really tight for 3 laps, it all leads kind of a natural thing for me as a driver to.
All right, there's the checkered flag. Great job, driver.